Oh, that's so nice. Oh, I feel like it's my audience. Like she's watching and she's fine. Previously on Chronicles of Dania. So our muffins are ready. You don't know where one hobby or one talent or whatever will take you. Do you understand? So just don't feel like you have to be, don't box yourself. You don't feel like you have to do just one thing. Hey people, welcome back to Chronicles of Dania. So remember my baking business, Glass Slipper Home Bakes? Let me tell you a bit about how that started. So sometime in May last year, I'm minding my business at my 9 to 5 when I have a random craving for banana bread. Now let me tell you how random this is. I'm not a sweet tooth. I almost never crave anything sweet. Unless it's ice cream. I mean, because ice cream is big, right? So, but I'm the opposite. I'm more of a savory tooth than a sweet tooth. So I never have sweet cravings. But somehow that day, I'm just, minding my business, doing my work like the good students and employee that I was. And I just start to just really want banana bread. Now, this is where it gets really crazy. Normal people would not go and the normal thing to do would be to look up, someone who makes banana bread and just order from them, right? But then I now get the crazy idea that I'm going to make it. Now, the same way I can't shake the craving, the same way that I can't shake the idea that I'm going to have to bake this thing myself. So I do I do the normal thing. I look up a recipe, right? So I have my recipe at hand and I decide I'm going to bake this bread today. I remember that day I worked late that day for some reason. I think I left work about 8 and I was going home. There was so much traffic that day. So there was everything to shake the craving or discourage me from making the bread, but the craving refuses to go. I go to the grocery store on my way home. After a long day at work, stuck in traffic, I still go to the store and I buy all the ingredients, and I also buy a baking pan because I've never baked in my life. That's the thing. I've never baked at that time. I don't think I'd opened an oven. Maybe I've opened an oven before, but I've never baked anything. So baking was not something that came to me, right? So that night I buy all the ingredients, buy a baking pan, and then go home and start to bake this bread. Now, by the time I was done, it was like midnight. So I'm even too tired to even eat it. I just make the bread and then go and crash. But the good thing about it is I now took the bread to work the next day. So I gave it to some of my colleagues and I got some feedback from them such that by the time I was baking the second one and I was giving it out, it was so good. People were now asking, do you sell it? Do you sell it? And it was from, do you sell it? Do you sell it? That the seed was planted and I started doing banana breads. Now, the idea was to just sort of do it like a side, not take it seriously, almost like a hobby that makes you some money once in a while. Do you understand? That's what I was going to do with it, and just do banana breads. But then one random day, somebody calls me and asks me, he doesn't even ask if I make cakes, he just calls me to request a red velvet cake. And I remember that day I was at Ikwari Market. I was shopping for some decor pieces for a Glass Slipper Spaces project I was working on, right? And then so he just calls and says, he wants red velvet cake for someone. And I'm like, my first thing is sorry, I don't do cakes. But then I don't say no. I just like, yes, I can do it. And I say it and I end the call and I'm just like, wow, okay, what have you done this time? And I had to make it in 2 days, so I go back home, look up a recipe, and that's how I started making cakes. So my very first cake, no people start with vanilla, but my very first cake was a red velvet cake. I think about that cake now and it wasn't bad, but then my cakes now are so different. I mean, I'm not trying to brag, but I mean, look at the cakes, so but it's very different. But the point is, it came with a request and I did it. Just like that, I was now making cakes. Speaking of things that happen overnight, I'm going to show you this quick, easy peasy, super healthy as well breakfast that's made with oats. I'm sure you guessed, overnight oats. The thing about overnight oats is you can try it with all sorts of things, different fruits, bananas, berries, different types of things, but this is one of my favorite recipes I'm about to show you. So to start with, pour your oats into a mason jar. And then put in your yogurt. Followed quickly by your honey. And some vanilla. Next, pour in your milk. You can use any type of milk you like. To keep it super healthy, you can use almond milk. But I have just regular milk at home, so I'm just going to use that for this recipe. Now stir everything together so it's nice and combined. Then top with the fruits of your choosing. For this recipe, I've chosen to use grapes with some blueberries. To top it all up and add a bit of crunch, I'm going to add some sliced almonds. So now we cover and put in the fridge. And that's it. That's your overnight oats. And by morning, it would have all soaked and combined and give you this lovely, lovely, super healthy, super yummy breakfast. So I had one I made last night. I'm going to bring out and show you what it looks like. Oh yes, that's so good. For something unplanned and for a skill I didn't even know I had, GS Home Bakes has turned out to be my cash flow business. Because with interior design, projects are kind of spaced out, so you get a large chunk of funds now and then things go quiet for a bit. But with the baking business, you're turning over money daily, because there's demand daily and you keep turning money over. I remember that when I started, my 1 year target was to do to do 1 million naira in turnover at year one. But then when by the 6th month I had hit that target, I knew that I had something extraordinary, going on. Then in February 2018, I applied to the Tuni Lumelu Foundation using the baking business as, my business plan. And I applied to the foundation and I got selected as one of the entrepreneurs for 2018. I mean, this is for, like I said, a skill I did not know I had up until last year, guys. Like, talk about an overnight success. And that's honestly how I see my baking business. It's like my overnight miracle success baby, that God gave me to maintain my cash flow while I go about creating all the other things that I love to create, So I know that it seems like I'm hammering on just do it, but really just do it. And the thing about it is, it doesn't even matter. You might try something and you're not good at it, and that's okay, right? So don't put pressure on yourself thinking that if I try it, I have to succeed. No, you can try it. Okay, it didn't work, then move on. Life is an adventure. You don't have to put all that pressure like, if I try, if it doesn't work, people will say, what's their own? What's your own? Do you get? So, just try it. If it works, okay. If it doesn't work, okay, right? So, I think that's it for this episode. Thank you for watching again, and I will see you next time. Okay, bye. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.